Hello everyone, welcome again to Excel Corners. In the previous video, we saw how to protect a sheet or a file, and this was one of the videos making up a series of special videos on Home tab. Today, we are continuing this series with Go to Special. We look at what Go to Special is, that is the definition, why we need to use Go to Special, where to find Go to Special, and Go to Special menu elements. Let's now start to define what Go to Special is. Go to Special is an Excel data cleaning and analysis tool used to locate specific data elements which might cause issues or problems in our data in order to treat or correct them. Why do we need it? While find and replace is used for data elements which we know, Go to Special is needed to find data elements which we don't know. This may be, for example, blanks, objects, mistaken constant values or formulas, validation rules, conditional formats, column or row differences, and so on. So, how to find it? The first option is to use Home tab, then editing group. Here we have a drop down. You can see this is a drop down. Then we choose Go to Special. You see this is a box with a lot of elements we are going to see shortly. So the second option is to use a shortcut, Ctrl G, then Special. You see the same box comes out. So that is it. Now let's go into details with these elements. The first is comments. Let's look at how to locate comments in our data. So we select our data first, then Ctrl G, then Special, then choose comments, then we click OK. Then we fill with the color. So here we have two comments. Now we may choose to respond to these comments or remove them. So next is to locate constant values. Here we have data. Let's say, for example, choose this, select this column, then Ctrl G, then Special, then constant. I click OK. Then I highlight. You see, we have 4 constant values. So constant values are values which have no formulas. You see here there is a formula, here there is a formula, here there is a formula, but if you click here, you see there is no formula, which means there is a mistake. This figure was entered mistakenly. So to correct it, I copy this formula down here. You see there is a change. I copy also this one here and so on. So let me move to the next. How to locate formulas. So I choose, I select my data, then Ctrl G, then Special, then formulas. Now I'm going first to see number formulas. I uncheck these other options and I remain with number formulas. So after clicking OK, I highlight. Here you can see where there are number formulas. If I click here, you can see there is a random between formula. Here the same, here the same. Then here it's a summation formula, the same here, and so forth. So I go back, I select again, Control G, special, formulas. Now I'm going to select to choose text formula. So I highlight with the color. You see, I have two text formulas here and here. As you can see, here there is a formula which transformed a text in a certain cell into upper text. Here it is the same. So I go back, I select, then I Control G, then special, then formulas. Then now I want to remain with logical formulas. Then I highlight. You see, have only one logical formula. It is an if formula. So that is it. Let me go back and select again, and go to special using a shortcut, special. Then I choose formula. I uncheck these options and I remain with errors. I click OK, then highlight. You see, have two errors in my data. So I may choose to treat them now, but this is now not the scope of this video because I have a specific video for error correction. So let me now move to how to locate blanks in our data. So I have my data here. I select data, then Control G, then special, then blanks, then I click OK. After this I highlight. You see, I have 3 rows. To remove them, I go to home, then cells, this cells group, then delete cells. You see, then entire row, I click OK. All the blanks have gone. So that is it. Now current region. Current region means all the cells around the active cell. So to use current region on the go to special dialog box is like using Control A to select. So let me now use home tab, this home, then go to find and select, then choose go to special, then current region, then I click OK. You see, it is already selected. As you see, I have 2 tables here, but this one was selected because the active cell was in this table. So that is it. Let me move to current array. So I have data here, current array or formula. So we have this column here. Let me select it, then Control G, then special, then current array. I mean current array, not current region. Then I hit OK. You see, if I highlight, you see that this formula breaks by here. that it is not applied to this part, while we may have assumed that it is one formula applying here. So if we want the whole formula to be applied to the whole column, we have to copy it down. So let's move now to objects. How to locate objects and treat them. So objects are mainly charts, text box, and shapes. So how to locate them? Because there may be sometimes many and we can't easily locate them, we use go to special to locate and treat them. So Control G, special, then object. Automatically they are all selected. If I want to remove them, I just click delete and they are all gone. So that is it. So I move to row difference. I want to locate where there is a difference between these rows. So I have 19 rows and I want to see where is the difference. So Control G, special, row difference, then OK. So after this I fill with the color, fill color, then you see the difference is in row 14. You can see it clearly. The difference is in row 15. In other rows there is no difference, but here there is a difference. Now let's move to column difference. The procedure is the same. Row difference. So I highlight or select my data, then Control G, then special, then column difference, then I click OK. After clicking, I highlight. You see, in the column A, no difference, column B, no difference, but column C, there is a difference. I may choose to correct it, and the problem is solved. Let's move to precedents. So, precedents are cells upon which a certain other cell depends, or which is linked to another cell. So we have this cell here. We want to see its precedence. It means cells depending, or cells which are linked to it backward. So Control G, then special, then precedence. We are now going backward to see what cells are linked to that cell. So we may choose to see direct precedence, the first option. If we click OK and we highlight, we see there are two precedents, or cells which are linked to this cell backward. Of course, they are linked with a formula. So now let's choose to see that it's indirect precedence. Control G, then special, then precedence, then all levels. Then we click OK. You see, all these are linked to this formula, because this formula is linked to this, and these other three are linked to this. So they are all precedents. So let's now go to dependence. Dependents are now cells which are linked to a certain cell forward. For example, I have a cell here, cell D3. Have to see what cells are linked to this with a formula in a forward way. So Control G, then special, then dependence, direct one. The first option, we have only one dependent, direct dependent, but let's see all levels. Control G, then special, then dependence, all levels. As you can see, there are now 2. So that is it. Let's now see how to locate the last cell. So Control G, then special, then the last cell. As you can see, the last cell is already highlighted. There are times when you have a big amount of data and it is difficult to know where our data ends. So that is it. So visible cells only. There are times when we copy our data. If there are columns or rows which are hidden, if we copy a table, all columns or rows are copied, even those which were hidden. For example, here we have this table. Let me copy the normal way, and you see. Then I paste it here. You see, all columns are now there. So to solve this issue, I want to only copy visible columns or visible data. So what I do, I select my data, then Control G, then special, then visible cells only, then OK. After this, I copy, then I paste. You see, it's only 3 columns like here. That is how it is done. So let me move to conditional formats. I want to know where there are conditional formats. So I choose, or I select my data, Control G, special, then conditional formats. Then I click OK. Then I highlight. You see, we may assume that in this column all cells have conditional formats, but using that checking, using Go to Special tool, we have identified that only 3 cells have conditional formats. So I have to treat it by applying or copying this conditional format to other cells. Let me now move to validation rules. I want to know where there are validation rules in my data. I select my table, my data, then Control G, then special, then data validation. Then I click OK, and I highlight. As you may see, like the previous example of conditional format, you may assume that in this whole column there are conditional format, and yet for this case we have only these rows, these cells, where you may find conditional, data validation rules. You see, the rule says between 300 and 1000. So if I put, for example, 200, it does not accept. So that is it. We thank you for watching and invite you to the next video. If you have not yet subscribed, please click on subscribe and notification button in order to be informed when we upload a new video. Kubumva Ikinyarwanda turabamenyesha ko abashaka akazi mwajya musura urubuga www.jobdreams.org rutanga amakuru ku myanya y'akazi ipiganirwa yasohotse kugira ngo ayo makuru muyamenyere igihe. Link yarwo murayisanga hasi y'iyi video muri description. Bye.